back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by...
Josh Griffey!
Hey! How's everybody doing? Big week. The news cycle isn't as good as last week, but
It's
still
so
big.
sad. Last
Still
week
big.
was the goddamn unicorn.
It
where
really
you're like,
was.
every story was perfect.
God. But like I said, I wish we were Joe Rogan. I wish we had 4 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
To do it. Hey, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, make sure you rate and review. That helps us out a ton. We appreciate every one of them, even those dickheads that give us a 1-star review. They clearly didn't.
Hey,
they didn't listen.
Thanks for pressing the button. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, which we know you are,
Yes.
in the details, you can find a link to our audio version podcast. Please go leave a rating and review on Apple and subscribe. It helps us out a ton, guys.
Link to the merchandise will be down there as well. Follow us on all of our socials at Coach Kit Murphy. Everywhere. None of that fake shit. Hopefully you guys liked the Trash Throw shirts.
New shirts, man. Houston Trash Throws, just balling.
Our dudes over at Brown Box fucking killed it with those designs. I was cracking up.
We were texting back and forth. It's like, which design is the best? I like the Trash Throw guy.
Yeah, that one's great. That's a great design. It really is. So big shout out to our dudes over at Brown Box, Mikey and his crew. They're just killing it with our merchandise. I love those dudes. All right. Let's dive into the hard-hitting topics of the week.
Well, we got to start by clearing up some Myles Garrett fallout. So last week is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So Myles Garrett had his appeal, and he went full Casey Anthony on it.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm just going to muddy the water, right? So the first defense that Garrett laid out, right? Because we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree, he hit a guy in the face with a fucking helmet.
It's indefensible, though.
Over a minute after the helmet was pulled off, it felt like in real time, right? Like it felt like an eternity between the helmet coming off and him hitting the guy.
Right.
Whatever you want to do, right? So first defense was, well, when we were wrestling on the ground, he grabbed my dick.
Yep.
Okay, I thought they wore cups. Maybe.
Yeah. That's not
Doesn't
an
explain
uncommon
it
thing
away.
at the bottom of a pile
Sure.
anyway.
A lot of that.
Ask
Eye
Bill
gouges.
Romanowski.
Yeah, right? So that's fine. I was like, all right, that defense maybe helps his cause a bit. But then he went all Richard Sherman on us and dropped the hottest topic, right? The hottest button issue he can to give himself some clearance. Myles Garrett claims when they were wrestling on the ground, Mason Rudolph, white, called him the N-word.
Sure.
Or a racial slur of sorts,
yeah.
right? Yeah, I don't know exactly.
I don't know if he specified or not, but
I'm
either
assuming
way.
that was the word.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Do you believe this for 1 second?
Not a chance. No, I don't. Not a chance. Even if it were true,
Sure.
it's not an excuse to swing a helmet at a man and try to kill him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I agree with that on a level, but this is where the defense falls short for me, right? If he calls you that word, you completely lose your shit and decide to attack him, fine. Explain to me that 30 seconds to 1 minute between standing up with the helmet and then hitting him. Because if you're telling me that Mason Rudolph yelled that to him when he was trying to re-get in his face, and that DeCastro and Pouncey didn't hear it, I don't buy that for. And also Pouncey and Hayward, right, on the Steelers are not guys that would just be like, well, he's our guy. It's cool that he said the N-word. Like, they are guys that would come out and be pissed off about that. Yeah. For sure. So I don't buy it happened there. If it happened on the ground, explain that gap between losing your cool and hearing the word.
It's like the Richard Sherman thing that happened earlier this year when he said he stiffed him on the handshake, and he didn't. There's video everywhere.
Right. And you knew what was coming next was because Baker's a racist.
Those fields are mic'd. Yeah. There's probably at least a handful of players that are mic'd up for NFL films in every game. Yeah. You know, if it happened, there'd be evidence. You would know.
Seems unlikely.
Like, it's just these guys like lying about this shit. A of all doesn't help the cause.
Right.
And B of all is easily disputed or proven. Like, it's not like...
Well, I can't believe
you weren't in the
NFL
bathroom. Yeah, you know what I mean? You were out in front of all the cameras and all the microphones. If he said it, we would know.
I cannot believe the NFL hasn't found this clip yet.
Yeah.
Because if you find the clip, right, and Mason Rudolph did this.
Right.
ESPN's going to want that
All
on
day.
a loop.
TMZ
Fox is going to want that on
TMZ
a
would
loop.
pay $10 million for it.
That would be as much money for them as an actual game.
Yeah.
So everyone would be like, woohoo!
Absolutely.
Now we get to do this for a week,
Yeah.
right? And also, here's the other, like, just, like, if you're just a, prosecutor, you're like, well, this is just easy money, right?
Right.
Here's the other thing. If that happened, why was this not mentioned in the defense right after the
Immediately.
game? Immediately.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
should be the first thing you say is, hey, man, I know I lost my cool, and that was a really not okay thing I did, but
Right.
this is what incited it. The fact that he waited almost 10 days
Right.
to say it, and the fact that he wrote Mason Rudolph an apology letter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy it for a second.
I don't either.
And actually, that was what Hayward came out and said, too. He's like, dude, we're in, like, a fraternity here. Like, it's not okay to just be throwing that around.
Right.
And again, like...
Pouncey's not going to stomp his head if his teammate dropped. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's not.
That's my theory, too.
Yeah.
And I know I was listening to a lot
Pouncey
of
might
other
try to stop him
podcasts.
from getting killed, but he's not going to go out of his way
Yeah.
to go and get suspended for a guy that just fucking... He's not.
Because that's the thing, like, and I know a lot of podcasts have been dodging this and not wanting to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Not here. Not at Nick Hall Comedy.
we can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure all these guys have dealt with that in real life, right?
Oh, for sure.
Having dealt with being called that
Absolutely.
and racism, fine. But like you said, it's just to throw out these, like what Sherman did in this, throwing out these, because one, if it happened, yeah, it's reprehensible and needs to be handled.
Absolutely.
If it didn't and you're just saying, oh, this guy did it, there are fans now who are for the rest of Mason Rudolph's career, which might be gone already.
Yeah.
Right? But like Mason Rudolph and the rest of his life, if you Google Rudolph, there will probably be an article saying Myles Garrett, quote, Mason Rudolph called me the N-word, right? Like that will follow him.
The only way
That's a
Mason,
big
the
problem.
only way Mason Rudolph will ever lose fans is if his family turns his back on him, because that is his fan base. Let's be honest, and maybe a handful of girls he banged in college, and maybe that's about it.
But even they're like, I don't want this associated. I'm going to list
they're
some TikTok
they're still
followers.
climbing the ladder. Like we might be able to get to one of these other guys.
Yeah.
Driscoll's looking for some puss right now in Detroit.
Well, this new guy's nickname is Duck. Who knows what that's all about? We're in. It's ridiculous. I don't know, like, because that's the thing. And same with Richard Sherman. He just walked away from that and nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that you can sit there.
You're trying to incite like this much larger thing with a lie.
And again, you just altered Mason Rudolph's reputation forever on what I believe, and until someone produces the audio tape,
then I'm with him.
that I think that's total nonsense. I don't believe this happened, right? Now, if it comes out that Rudolph said it, then I will be the first one to say he deserved to get hit with a helmet.
But if it had,
I'm the first one to
it
admit
would already be out. If it were,
doesn't make
if it were a
sense.
real thing, it would already be out.
Just watch the tape of the on-field incident and watch all of his post-game comments. The letter he wrote to Rudolph. None of that makes sense with a guy who got called a racial slur.
If it happened, some kid that's like an intern video editor for NFL Films would have already had it. He's making like $15 an hour. TMZ goes, here, kid, here's $200,000. Give me that clip. And it would have been out already. And that kid would have lost his job, but he just made $200,000. He didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It would be out already.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's
100%.
Like the old truism of news that has never changed, right? If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
I mean, but bleed can be so many things in this country, and the unopened wound we will never close is racism, right? If you had that tape, money.
I
news
agree.
Cycles.
Yeah, that's
President Trump would be talking about. Like, this would be like the story of
I
like
think-
the month. Everyone would want
I
that
know what
tape.
he said, but I think Mason's a great kid. Tremendous.
You think Trump would come down?
People
Team
tell me
Rudolph?
all the time, I love Mason Rudolph. He's tremendous. He's done a tremendous thing. He comes to my club. He's tremendous.
Yeah, he has the best words. Not the best arm or completion percentage, but he has the best words.
There would already be a comment during probably the State of the Union or something.
Yeah, I don't buy it. And this is what I hate, man, is if you do this and you cannot produce the evidence to accuse someone of that, there should be repercussions for this. Rudolph, like you said, you said Rudolph should have got in trouble. He got fined. Like, they did come out and fine him. I think
$3,500.
right, but considering he's probably done in the
finding
NFL,
anybody else at their job $1.
I mean, that's the thing. I fucking hate that this is a thing. And of course, like the trashy Browns peoples are like, see, I told you. I was like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking Browns trash rats.
Oh man, they went The Browns went full trash before the game,
Yeah, they
too.
did.
They had a Mason Rudolph pinata that they were just smacking with a Steelers helmet.
One, I want to admonish the Browns fan for being trashy losers, which they are, right? Everyone who likes the Browns is a trashy loser by nature. It's in their DNA. You put on that ugliest jersey in sports, and you now become a trashy loser. It's a lifestyle.
You hate the Browns.
But it was funny. That was a funny fucking video.
I laughed my ass off.
If you're going to troll, do it well.
Yeah.
That was a funny troll.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, do it. Go for it. Go all in.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. It was pretty tremendous.
I don't know, though. I think the league needs to figure this out, man. Because it feels like this is going to be the new go-to defense on everything.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they inject race into it, everyone's going to go, woo, woo, woo,
well, yeah,
woo,
then
woo,
it becomes, like, I don't want to touch that.
And also, well, God forbid, you don't want to be Goodell
It's
or
a
one
power
of the
play.
NFL executives and get that wrong.
If it's real, it's one thing.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, well, we'll find Garrett again for making a lie, and then the tape comes out that Rudolph did it.
Yeah.
So it does feel like, well, now they've just set up this defense.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, man. I hate the Browns. Myles Garrett, you're a fucking joke. That's nonsense. That's Cracker Jack.
Cool.
No, not like... Whoa!
No, I got it. I know what you meant.
We used to say things are Cracker Jack because of the junky toys at the bottom, right?
Well,
That's a Cracker Jack toy. That's nonsense. Oh, here we go. Now I just caught my... Josh Griffey calls out Cracker. That's the headline of the show.
No.
Whoa! Sorry, Crackers.
What else we got this week? We got that NBA shit.
There's a lot of NBA news, which I'm excited about. Because I pretty much... It's weird because the Steelers are in the playoff race. But I'm pretty much all the way out on the NFL season as a fan. Because the Steelers are borderline unwatchable. It's fucking embarrassing, and it's hard to get through one game.
That was a brutal game yesterday.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
The Bengals. It's so gross. But I've been really liking the NBA. It's great.
Yeah.
Here's the story I would like to tackle first, because I think this can lead into like our bigger topic, right? So there were two stories I really exceptionally liked this week. One is that Patrick Beverley just got fined $50,000 for flopping.
For flopping.
What I like, and if you watch the tape, 100% plain as day a flop.
Yeah.
Right? The irony, the sweet, sweet irony, which I'm assuming someone in the NBA office had to be like, guys, this is going to be a bad look. The man he was guarding, James Harden.
One of the biggest
The worst
floppers.
flopper. I mean, it's like him and LeBron and maybe Pau Gasol are like the flop Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right?
And Reggie Miller.
Yeah, right?
my dude, Reggie. I love Reggie.
But James Harden essentially flops every single play.
Yeah.
Right? He offensive fouls you and then pretends to get hit on every single play
After
of
he
his
travels
life.
twice during the possession.
After he travels and gets a full push-off.
Yeah.
The fact that the league had no self-awareness, right? And they let this fly, because I guess it's the second time this season. But you're like, why this one?
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you watch that Rockets game, which I did not, it was Rockets-Clippers. I'm sure if you watch that, how many flops? Over under Vegas odds, how many flops in that
25.
game? 25.
Yeah.
Easy. Like
Easy.
the only superstar in the league that I've seen who doesn't flop is Kawhi.
Pretty
Right?
much,
Because
yeah.
Kawhi can't like emote.
Yeah, he
So
can't.
I don't think acting's in his wheelhouse, right?
He's totally void inside.
Yeah. Well, it's actually my dream is that the secret casting of Space Jam 2 includes Kawhi. And like, I just want to see Kawhi act.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck could that
I
possibly
bet it's
look
wonderful.
like? Yeah, unless he was like, he did the Terminator commercial with Arnold. I'm like, that could be a good wheelhouse.
Just do He Got Game Part 2. Instead of Ray Allen, you got Kawhi.
Yeah, I'm sure that
Great.
would be perfectly as good.
I'm way in.
Yeah, but why? Okay, so here's a two-part question for you, right? The NBA has to address flopping.
Sure.
Is this the right way?
Well, here's the thing with it. So this whole thing about finding flopping came about because of guys like James Harden and LeBron James and all these superstars that flop all the time, and they get the calls because they're fucking superstars, and then NBA officiating is trash.
Yeah.
And so they finally get a chance. They're like, we're gonna make an example of Patrick Beverley. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know Patrick Beverley's
you.
having his moment, right? Like he had the game earlier this year before Curry got hurt.
those pussies will never levy that fine on LeBron James or
No.
They're too big of pussies to do it.
They don't want to have
But
the
they'll
news
do
of-
it to Patrick Beverley and be like, look, see, we're cracking down on flopping. Fuck out of here. No, you're not.
It's less fun to read James Harden drops 56 and gets fined $100,000 for 4 flops.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. The NBA does have the problem of, because we all watch the games, right? And a lot of people, I think, don't watch as many games. The NBA regular season ratings are not good, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, most of the time, I won't watch a game unless Chuck and Shaq are doing it, right?
Yeah, I watch my Pacers,
if they have
and
the
that's about
halftime
it.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched more Lakers games because they're a shockingly weird team this year.
Yeah,
they're kind of
good.
fun to watch. Dwight with an E hasn't imploded yet. It's been weird. But I don't know how you do the way. This is what I'd like to see, because this is something we're talking about, right? The NBA is talking about wild changes in the upcoming seasons, right?
Right.
And I'm all for changing sports, right? I'm not a traditionalist.
I'm not either.
You got to keep up with the times. I want to see in-game technical for flopping.
Absolutely.
So if you think someone flops, you call a tech, you go right to the monitor, look at it, and if you're right, done.
Yeah.
If you're wrong, you just get the ball back.
Yeah, that's
just play again.
It's annoying. Like, in my opinion, James Harden is the most fraudulent superstar in the history of the NBA. Like, if they called him within the rules of the game, he would have 8 points a night. He travels almost every fucking possession. Every time he gets the ball, he flops nonstop.
Yeah.
He gets he's at the line 20 times a night on bullshit foul. He gets 20 points a night off the free throws that he shouldn't have got anyway.
I think he's averaging like 14 free throws a game.
It's absurd. Crazy. Like, I cannot stand that dude. He is not that good.
He's taking more free throws than Shaq.
He's a benefit of loose officiating on him to make him a superstar. The NBA made him a superstar.
But this is what I mean. It's hard, and this is what is annoying, and I think the NBA wants to fix, right? Because while James Harden is having historic run, right? Like, his last 3 to 4 seasons are unprecedented.
Well, yeah.
Numerically,
well, he doesn't have to play by the rules. It's great.
But this is what I mean, right? So while that's happening, guys like us don't appreciate James Harden enough as we probably should, because he is an amazing talent.
I feel zero need to appreciate him as a player.
No, but I agree. When I watch him play, I get actually angry.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, the guy has an amazing shot.
It's infuriating.
Amazing
he's
handles.
a good shooter.
He can fucking go to the rim. He's the kind of player that I've always wanted to watch, right? He's everything I like, except for you feel like he's cheating and not getting tagged. And it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's so fucking frustrating that this guy with this immense talent, and I can't just watch him and appreciate it, right? Like, this year I've been watching I've watched 4 Mavericks games already.
That kid's bad.
And I don't fucking care about the Mavericks. Yeah, because I'm like, Luka is this unbelievable talent.
Yeah.
And James Harden should be doing that. But then you go to Twitter, and it's like, every time he makes an amazing play, you go to Twitter, and NBA Twitter is just push off, foul, 5 steps.
Travel, And
it's just like, well, this is no fun,
it's
man.
It's fraudulent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy a second of it.
Well, Simmons is doing that
of
podcast,
his numbers,
right?
Yeah,
He's doing the Book of Basketball 2.0, which for basketball, like, I'm a basketball fan.
I read the first one that he did.
It's so fucking good, right? Because he's going back and kind of redoing different players, right? He's done Curry, Shaq, and Harden. And he's reading these stats on Harden, and you're like, maybe I'm too hard on Harden. Like, he is incredible. You know, Simmons, like, I have him in, like, the 30s of best players of all time. And I'm like, yeah, man, these numbers are insane. Like, the very day I was like, oh, the Astros are on, I'll watch it. Or not the Astros, the Rockets, right? Yeah, it's like a Houston cheating conglomerate.
Oh, yeah.
But I turned on the Rockets, you're like, it's unwatchable filth.
It sucks. Yeah.
It's unwatchable filth because... and this is what I mean. How does the NBA fix this? I don't know.
Well, you just enforce the rules.
That's what I do.
Just enforce the rules as they're written.
Well,
either that or just change the rules and be like, it is what it is. But don't say the rule is this.
Yeah.
And then you only call it for guys not named James Harden or LeBron James. You know what I mean?
Well, especially
I fucking hate the NBA.
If you don't want to call,
it's a garbage.
If you don't want to call travels on anyone. Okay, I don't really care that much about travels, right? If you get an extra jump step.
They're glorified pickup games.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. Yeah. The push-off, though, I'm like, that's the easiest call to make in every game for every official, right? Like, why does James Harden on one step back have 8 extra feet of separation than every other player in the league? Because he fucking pushed. And James Harden's a stocky motherfucker.
Yeah.
But this gets to, like, the bigger point, right? That was my other story, is that LeBron and the Lakers have decided they're sending a letter to the league office because he had a game the other night where he got 0 free throw attempts, and they thought it was essentially officiating colluding against him.
Yeah, because he's never gotten the benefit of the doubt 19 times a game.
He assumes he's
every
not
game
the
of his career
he deserves anymore.
Sure, yeah.
Hey, I like it. I like the balls of essentially just being like, hey, man, The system's supposed to be rigged.
Yeah.
You guys forgot to rig it for a night, so we're going to make a publicity stunt to remind you to rig it.
Yeah.
Love that shit. Super in.
Yeah.
It's a very Laker thing, and I dig it.
Just the sheer thought of LeBron writing a letter to the league about a poor officiating going against him. I mean, it's just laughable.
I love it.
Because that guy has gotten the benefit of every call for 15, 16 years now.
Yeah.
Like 10 to 12 times a game. He has gotten calls that he shouldn't have gotten.
Because he's 6'8",
night in and night out. And one time, that average starts to skew toward where it actually should be. And he's like, nope, I got to write a letter.
This is ridiculous.
Hey, Silver, come here, pal. Yeah.
Well, LeBron invented this. I'm 6'8" and 250, so every time I run to the rim, they're just going to call a foul.
Yeah.
Even though he's like just knocking guys around him.
Yeah.
Whatever, fine.
Which I'd bulldoze my way in too if I were that big.
Sure.
I'm not mad at him.
It's
I
his
would do
weapon,
it too. Yeah.
But you also can't be pissed when you don't get a call.
Right.
If you are initiating contact on every play as well. So this is something, Adam Silver, right? I dig this guy as a commissioner, right? Perhaps didn't do well on China, but he's done well, right? He seems with it to me. More than other commissioners, he seems like
I have a problem with a guy that I'm not even sure could lift a basketball. Being the commissioner of basketball, though.
Just because Adam Silver looks like powder grew up.
Yeah.
That doesn't change it for me at all.
I would bet almost anything I had that he can't get the ball to the rim on a free throw.
I would actually wager.
I bet you could give him 20 shots and he couldn't make a free throw.
I'll bet you somewhere there's a hot.
And I just have a problem with that with a guy like that is the commissioner of basketball.
I guarantee you there's a hot VHS mixtape somewhere of Silver with like a little baby fro.
Yeah.
Just crossing dudes, taking ankles
I
at
get
the
it.
ruck.
He's a businessman. You got him there. It's just like
That's an unfair criticism, though, because do I think Goodell could run a 40, catch a ball, kick, or
no,
throw?
but Goodell looks like he could play back. He's a decent-sized guy.
Goodell looks like a limo driver.
He was an athlete at one point.
Goodell looks like a limo driver who talks about his glory days of high school football, but couldn't actually play. I don't believe Goodell has any athletic bone in his body.
I don't think he has a business bone in
Rob
his body.
Manfred,
He's a fucking idiot.
Like, I don't believe Rob Manfred can go out and slap a dinger.
Yeah, but,
prime.
I mean, like, David Wells pitched a perfect game, and that guy...
Baseball is a physiqueless game. It's the glorious...
That guy, like, went on Weight Watchers once and, like, ate the boxes, too. It was just like, that's not enough.
It was like him and Charles Barkley got kicked out.
Baseball's a little different.
Sure. But I think he at least is in the right headspace for this game, right?
Right.
The athlete's brand is bigger in the NBA, right? It just is. It's more important. So you have to kind of be moving with these players, right?
Yeah.
And the NBA's seen some seismic shifts, right? Super teams, short deals so you can get the fuck out whenever you want. Just every game, like me and my brother were watching a game the other night. We were watching the Bucks and Portland, right? One of Carmelo's first games back. So I was like, I got to see this. Of course, Carmelo garbage. But we watched, and I think in like a 5-minute stretch, every single shot was a three-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
Just run down, jack it up.
Yep.
Even Giannis is jacking up threes now.
Yeah.
So that's changed, right? So they're just these big players just taking games off. The league is being assaulted with big changes.
Yeah. Load
some
management.
Some fans don't care about, but some guys do. Like, it bothers me. I think load management being the most annoying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you want your guys healthy
it's
for the postseason.
It's an annoying term anyway. It's my load management.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's, God, I hate it.
Fuck off.
But this is the thing. What does the league do? Because I think if you buy, right, if you're a family and you go to one game a year and you show up to watch the Lakers play the Bucks and Giannis and LeBron are sitting,
those tickets aren't cheap.
You should be able to get your money refunded.
I totally agree with
that.
And
the NBA is not going to do that.
100% agree with that.
So how do they fix load management?
Yeah.
Right? And Kawhi kind of broke the argument last year by winning the finals and having a degenerative knee problem.
Right.
Right? So
he thigh problem too, I think.
He is the exception to the rule where he probably does need a lot of time off. What does the NBA do?
Right.
And so their proposed change is this new crazy system where they're going to shorten the season by 4 games only.
Yeah.
Which does nothing to help anyone. And add these middle-of-the-season soccer league style tournaments, which I
don't get that. Yeah.
I don't understand at all.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, and I've heard this point made, is they're like, well, it'll add more excitement and competition for this. And I'm like, it's still just reshuffling losers.
Yeah, it's just meaningless, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, it's like the preseason NIT in college. Like, we won preseason. Like, cool, good for you, man.
Well, even the postseason NIT tournament.
Yeah.
It's the not invited tournament.
Yeah, congratulations.
Who won last year?
Yeah.
No one cares, right?
I don't know.
So if you're telling me someone who would have been the 10th seed, like last year the Kings could have snuck in just to get swept by Golden State or whoever, cool. I'm glad the losing fan base had more fun.
I remember it was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago, but like Michigan made the NIT. And I think we either won it or went to the finals. And I was like watching the game and being like, let's go. And then I was like, why am I watching? Like, why do I care about this? Like, what am I
not in the
top like I had that
64
like
bracket.
self-realization like halfway through the game. I was like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
and I turned it. I was like, I hope they win. They're my guys, but like, I'm not gonna celebrate this.
Imagine being me last year and
we
seeing
beat
that.
Oral Roberts for the championship.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
no, last year when Indiana University lost in the NIT, I was like, this is even more of a shame. You should never go because you could lose in that tournament.
Yeah.
To lose in the NIT is so fucking embarrassing for a big conference school.
Yeah.
So this is what I was going to propose to you. The NBA is making changes, right?
Sure.
Top 3 things that you would like to change about the NBA. How do you change them? What's the problem you're addressing? How do you enforce it?
I don't hate the idea of the shortened season, whether it's 4 games or whatever that is. But then if you're going to do that, like you said, if you're going to do that, okay, then have some kind of checks and balances for the load management. Then, like, okay, we're giving you 4 extra games off, basically.
Right.
We're building that in. So this load management shit's got to stop or be curbed a little bit.
Yeah.
The in-season tournament is fucking nonsense.
Right.
The play-in stuff I don't like.
But give me your fixes. What would you like to see fixed to help? Like, here's a big one for me. This is something I've heard murmurs of, and I think this is my biggest one that I'm a proponent of. You take all the teams that don't make the playoffs, right?
Right.
They all get a single elimination game tournament, right?
Right.
So all the lottery teams, right? So take the bottom 14 teams, put them in a lottery, right? The winner of the single elimination lottery tournament, right? Like do like a Gus Macker, right? You can do 3-on-3, whatever you want. Ice Cube and the Big Three can host it, whatever, right? The winner of that tournament, wherever you place, that's where you draft.
Okay.
So instead of tanking to get the number 1 player, you fucking win, right? So this team that's on the cusp, building a little momentum so then you're trying to build every year instead of just blowing it apart. Like, you know, I think the process for the Sixers was just the biggest sham.
Right. And
I still don't know that they have a guaranteed contender, right? They're good, but are they going to win? If you don't win at the end of the process, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, and
right?
I don't like the tanking either because that goes back to the point, you know, about the load management, but it's also like, why did you charge people for tickets to come watch a team intentionally try to lose?
Yeah.
Like, that's bullshit.
To intentionally sabotage
these people
their
are
season.
paying good money to come out, and you're not even trying. Like, I hate that.
Weird.
So anything you can do to stop that, I'm for.
Yeah.
I'm for.
And the NBA has this weird where it's, you know, we're doing the lottery system as this, we'll have ping pong balls.
Sure.
And there's, like, the Lakers jumping that high last year.
The Cleveland got it like 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Weird.
And it feels like, why are you adding this nonsense? And their theory is, well, we want the bad teams to have, obviously, this chance to get a lot better. Well, that's fucking horseshit, man.
Yeah.
Like this year, just because of some timing and injuries, the Golden State Warriors might get the number 1 pick, get this fucking stud forward from Memphis, right?
Yeah.
And have an almost instant reload.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't need the reward. So the system, it feels like to me, isn't helping who it should help, right?
Agreed.
Cleveland gets all those picks. They fuck them up and lose LeBron.
Right.
The Knicks have been getting lottery picks for how long, and they're fucking trash.
Right.
Right? Why are we doing this? Make them play for where you draft. I think that would be a wildly fun.
I would be for that.
And this is the thing, right? And then it's not just oh, hey, you can be a loser and play a tournament to try to get in and get swept by the Lakers, who are the 1 seed.
Right.
Maybe. Knock on wood.
Well.
But, you know what I mean? You're playing other teams that are kind of in the same place for you.
Right.
And so that young, hungry squad on the come up, right? Like the Kings last year were on the come up, hungry. They got hot near the end. You know, or not hot by the end, but they were a solid, fun team. Maybe they took a run, and then this year they're in the sweepstakes for Zion or Ja, and then now you are not just giving the worst team the player that's going to fucking fall apart.
Right.
You're giving them the chance to make that jump to like a 4 seed maybe.
Right.
And have a young, exciting team. And this is the other part I like. Instead of people just collecting old players and contracts to throw away at the end of the season, now maybe a guy like Iguodala, someone has extra value because you're like, he can help us win that tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love this idea.
Well,
I know people will say you'll make teams like the Knicks like forever losers. Hey, man, that's on you. Fire and hire until you're better.
Fuck the in-season tournament, though. I think if we're going to steal something from like the European soccer leagues, I love their fucking system of if you suck and you're not trying to win, you're not good, you're not in this league. Like you're going to drop down and you've got to play your way back up. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
It curbs tanking 100%.
Yeah. Well,
I love
think
that.
Of all the things in the NBA that I don't like, I think tanking across all sports is the most outrageous.
It's happening all over the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
And to see the fact that in sports, right? And these are the same guys, these old timers that, this is the way to do it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They also are the same guys that'll bitch about participation trophies.
Right.
This is the biggest participation trophy. You just get Zion because you fucking suck that bad.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. And so then you get guys like Zion lost on these teams that don't necessarily haven't earned the right to get a player of that caliber.
Right.
And I know guys will say, well, if the Cavaliers had never gotten LeBron, okay, well, they needed to do better.
Yeah.
Right? They had LeBron for all that time and didn't get enough to show for it, in my opinion.
Well, the hockey does a thing, too. And I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, but certain games are weighted differently. So, like, two teams that are basically, like, in their lottery or whatever they call it. But that head-to-head matchup, like, the winner of that actually benefits more.
You should.
Than the loser does. So that way teams aren't out there just trying to fucking fall down.
Right.
Again, you know what I mean? Against these other...
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I read an article about it like a couple years ago. I was like, that's actually a pretty cool system, too.
The one thing you'd have to stop...
You still can get rewarded for a bad team in terms of like being able to help build through the draft a little bit better. But you're not rewarded for just laying down and not playing. Yeah.
This is the only problem with the system that you'd have to address is... Would there then be a race for that 6th seed through 10th seed to try to lose out to then get in the loser tournament and draft Zion?
So you can just be like a 40-40 team or whatever.
And I think maybe the way the league does that is you have to make it so profitable to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? That then it's just worth it to be in the playoffs.
Well, then you'll see a team
then you have to incentivize the playoffs beyond, because this is the thing. It's the other big problem with this whole adding another tournament to the NBA.
Yeah.
Their fucking season-ending tournament is one of the worst.
Yeah.
Because you don't even have to watch essentially the entire first round.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason those are 5 games.
Fucking like
series.
3 months long too.
I know.
It takes forever.
And it's like essentially every year you're like maybe there's like 3 series that are worth watching.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I think you should cut all that down.
Yeah.
Shrink everything and then have this tournament to try to play for a draft pick.
Right.
That would be my biggest fix for the NBA.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Give me a big-minded solution. Like, what are you fixing and how?
I would address the tanking. That'd be the first thing that I would do it, and then I would seriously sit down with the rules and say, okay, if we're gonna call the game this way, then let's make the rules this way.
Right.
Because I'm so like we were talking about, I'm just so fucking tired of watching the Rockets and it just feels fraudulent to me. Like it doesn't feel like real basketball. And then they tout these dudes. They're like, oh, he's a superstar. It's like, well, you kind of. Yeah. Like he doesn't earn like anything that he gets. He doesn't earn it. You know what I mean?
Well, he has the weird like Harden is popular with the younger, the highlight reel generation, right? Because that's what they'll see him on Twitter.
No risk, high reward.
Oh, he's took an ankle, and you're like, yeah, but he also took 9 steps. Like it doesn't whatever.
No, he didn't break that guy's ankles. The guy fell because he shoved him.
Right.
But before he did a double jump step back.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think, but that's what I mean. I think you have because how do you stop? Because flopping and calling the rules, I think, are kind of the same thing.
Kind of, yeah.
How do you crimp this, right?
Right.
For me, I want in-game technicals for flops. And then I think you have to, after the game...
I'm with you on that.
You have the league office watch questionable plays.
Sure.
You got to start finding the shit out
everybody.
Of people. Like, you got to find the fuck.
I don't care if it's fucking TJ Leaf, fine him. Yeah. If it's LeBron, fine him. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about players. If you are a referee and you let James Harden get 5 push-offs in a game, right? Set the threshold. You get to miss X amount of calls because this is a really hard game to officiate. But let's say they played the Mavs the other night, right? Houston.
Right.
and the Mavs send in a tape, and they're like, we think these 10 plays were wrong, right? All these teams do these post-game analysis now. If the league can say you let James Harden push off 8 times, you're suspended for 3 games.
Yeah, but see, all these leagues are so prideful about their officiating.
Which is weird. I feel like officials are getting worse. They're not getting worse. We just see more evidence.
Well, so like the pass interference shit in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you can review it, and they're getting overturned at like a 7% rate.
Yeah.
When they're clearly pass interference or non-pass, they just are refusing to overturn them, and just except for it was funny because yesterday the fucking Saints got that no call, which got reviewed and it got overturned to a pass interference, like near the goal line or whatever. So, like the Saints, who that rule was put in place for because they got so butt fucked on it last year.
By the way, Sean Payton
turn around and get fucked by their own rule. Because it's like that call, they haven't overturned all year.
Yeah.
They haven't. I mean, it's been brought up 100 times and they haven't over. And then the one time they fucking do it. I was watching that game and I just kind of chuckled a little bit.
You could tell in the post game where Sean Payton, I think his exact phrase was, "That's not how we wrote it." And I was like, he helped write it.
Yeah.
Because
he drafted because a guy got like flat out murdered.
He essentially like, Myles Garretted a guy last year and they got away with it.
But the point I guess I'm making is like they're so prideful on this because and the reason that's happening is because they don't want to admit that the officiating is missing calls.
Right.
So they just come back and they don't overturn it. They just call stands. So that they can say, look, we got the call right.
Right.
By the numbers, by their percentages.
Right.
And I think that's what you see in the NBA too. It is like that game earlier in the year, I was watching the Pacers game, and I think it was against the Hornets, and they shot 42 free throws, and the Pacers shot 7.
Right.
We had a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden they shot like 25 free throws that quarter.
Yeah.
We shot none, and then all of a sudden the game went to overtime. And then like
they're like
the
calling
NBA's,
LeBron, hey, can we borrow your stationery?
And the NBA statement, because like the NBA does like the 2-minute report after each game, and every time they come back in that 2-minute report, like, everything looked good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're watching these games, you're like, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. But they'll never admit it.
They're like my kids'
they don't want to admit
that is a good dog. Gold sticker.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
But they don't want to admit that they have a fault in their officiating because I don't know why they think that egg would look so bad on their face.
Yeah.
Versus if they address it and go, yeah, we got to clean this up. I think it would make people more happy than to have you just consistently run out and go, no, we got that right. Like when clearly you didn't.
And this is the thing. They're not fooling anyone because every single night NBA Twitter is just, here's a misplay. Here's a bad call. Here's a travel.
Yeah.
This should have been we see it. That's the thing is back in the 70s, right? When we were,
one game on TV, there's no footage, then you can get away with that shit.
The local Kansas City reporter, Whiskey Dick Roberts, said the game was played tough and fair. And that's all we knew, right? That's gone. We see every angle. We see every James Harden infraction. We see LeBron flop.
And and not only that, like you're seeing it in real time, but everywhere, YouTube, every vlog,
Twitter,
you see that
HD,
just that
TikTok.
clip of that play, no matter who it is, 10,000 times the next day.
And that's what I mean. It can't be good when the news cycle is not about the game.
And you'll be hard pressed to find the NBA ever going, yeah, we got that wrong, or the NFL going, yeah, we got that wrong.
Yeah,
like, hard pressed to find any of that versus all the shit you see.
And I feel like that's the thing I like about Adam Silver versus Goodell, right? Goodell's just like an actual human puppet, right? Like he just has 32 old white man hands right up his asshole, and he gets worked from the mouth.
Right.
I think Silver is forward-thinking enough that he kind of gets it.
Of the commissioners, he's probably the most forward-thinking in the major sports.
I think there's hope because the NBA is the sport that trends most popular to the youngest audience.
Yeah. Yep.
And they are the ones who are going to be okay with
They have the most ideal demographic in terms of like that younger,
Yeah, I mean, it's like baseball's nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
It's like we can see that X old man behind the plate is not calling a good strike zone.
Well, and that's the thing. But,
and they're like, they do an excellent job. No, they don't.
I don't like the robot umpire thing. I know you do.
Super.
But the reason the MLB is resistant to that is because they don't want to say that they have bad umpires, a bad officiate. I don't know why these leagues are so fucking adamant. They're like, no, we got it right. Like, well, no, you don't. Like,
it's the only
some shit needs to change.
It's the only place in life, right, where we still argue that machines can do something less well than humans.
Right.
There is no, like, now they have machines that can perform eye surgery.
Right.
Right? Like, they've seen it, like, sew a grape skin back on.
Right.
You're like, okay, there's no arguing. We're not like, yeah, that was a pretty shitty stitching, right? Like, we're just not doing that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Like, oh, car factories were so much better when we had 4 extra alcoholics at the end of the line, right?
Right.
Like, that never happens.
Right.
But for some reason, you're telling me that a hyper-specific machine programmed, and this thing, MLB's never gotten behind it with money.
Yeah.
If they put actual money behind it, you'd have this ironed out and perfect.
Yeah, they tried it in the Atlantic League.
Yeah, you can
tried
do
it,
the actual touch sensors and gloves and bases, so you know exactly when the ball hits your foot. They can make this all better. This whole, and this gets back to basketball too, where I hear like some old timers like, we don't want them going to the plays and it slows down the game, this and that. I've always hated, my least favorite take in sports is that the human error is part of the game. And I was like, I agree with that when it's players, not fucking old guys that aren't on a team.
But like to that point though, like, so the MLB replay.
Yeah.
What I hate about it is, you know, a guy slides in a second, clearly beats the throw, and, you know, for a millisecond while he slid and touched the base, his hand went like that.
Yeah.
And then they go to replay and they're like, nope, he's out. And it's like, no, he's not. Like, like we, the Reds had a game that way this year, and we benefited from the call. We got a guy out at third.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel good about that. Like, the dude was safe.
Yeah.
You know, and for like a millisecond.
Right.
Because of physics, his hand jumped off the bag that much and back down on.
And that's my point, though, right?
But I hate that review.
If there's one thing that a human would be good for is to make that judgment.
Right, but the human called him safe on the field, which is the right call.
Right.
You're not going to, you can't see that with the human eye. And that's not what replay was designed for.
No.
You know what I mean?
Replay is so that, what's his name, Garcia doesn't lose his perfect game. That's what replay is designed for.
Or a big play or big...
Obvious, egregious calls,
and it's like these, that's the same thing with these pass interference. Like Champagne was like, that's not how we wrote it. Because it's written to protect you from plays like what happened to them, where it's a completely obvious guy got murdered. It's not this chippy, like the two players were touching each other down the field.
Yeah.
That never gets called, and then you replay it like, oh, I guess it was. Like, that's not what that rule's there for.
No. The rule is there
for
because...
an impactful play where it's
last
obvious.
Year, a Saint player got actually mugged.
Tackled,
Right? And they didn't call it.
And it cost him.
And of course, here's like other bad old.
But it was a playoff game, though.
There was overtime too. They still could have. Okay, well they would have won if you hadn't cheated them. Right? Like you can say whatever you want. That play altered the game, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Take the other shit out, right? Stop playing what ifs. Like that ruined it,
right?
And then that Super Bowl ended up being a terrible garbage Super Bowl.
Yeah,
where you're like, I think the Saints would have had a shot.
Yeah,
the Rams did jack shit. So then that's what the rule's for. Is we spent all those times, and then Saints fans essentially boycotting the game and declaring themselves de facto Super Bowl champions.
Right.
That's what the rule is for.
Central Florida, holding the title like Central Florida. We're the champs.
Hey, I mean,
the champs are here.
It's the worst missed call I've seen
it's really
in my
bad.
life.
Right.
Like, it's way the fuck
But
up
that rule is designed to prevent that play. It's not for a chippy... maybe what if call one way or the other.
This is the problem we have to solve, though, with our NBA flopping and whatever. I think the NBA is really hard to call because, again, like they have officials who talk about Shaq afterwards. And they're like, you could have called a foul, offensive or defensive, on every single play Shaq had the ball.
Well, the NBA is constant. It's constant motion. Yeah. It's not like the NFL where they set up plays.
Yeah.
You got a chance to get yourself in position. The NBA is just up and down, up and down.
Right.
And these refs have to keep up, going back and forth, back and forth.
And that's what I mean. Yep. So somehow you have to set it up where you're not calling 50-50s, right? Loose balls, whatever.
Right.
When James Harden extends his arm all the way, takes 2 steps back, right, that he shouldn't have, 2 jumps, and shoots a 3, and that impacts the game, that should get a tick. And if you get X amount of misses,
you're out.
You have to get suspended, right? And maybe the way they do this is they start paying
what
the officials
a weird idea.
more.
You don't do your job, you can't have it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know this is what people will say, right? Because I'm sure the officials will have a union. And they'll say,
oh, they do,
don't put it on us. The players are always gaming us. It's hard, but okay, well, you have a job. Like, it's hard to be a school bus driver because little kids can throw things at your head.
You're supposed to be able to identify that, and that's your job.
You're supposed to handle that, right? You're the grown-up on the court.
Right.
You know, they're all going to try to take as much as you'll give them. So like the fact that DeMarcus Cousins thinks he's floppable, right? Like, I can flop and get a call, right? Like, all these guys, it's like, I get it like the LeBron. James, like the guys that are so iconic and huge, I can understand the pressure, but that's why you take it out of their hands and you just have again, The fact that I can do it on Twitter every day, I can scroll through and just see the missed calls.
Right.
You just have a guy at the league office who does a count.
Right.
And if you miss it, right, that has to matter. And players the referees get suspended, so then the referees will call the game tighter. And I can already hear the counter argument, which I don't know how you feel. So like, it's going to slow down the style of play.
Right.
Well, not really, because if James Harden is tired of fouling out because he has 4 offensive fouls a game, James Harden will adjust. He's a good enough player to adjust his moves.
Absolutely.
So my theory is the argument that it'll slow down the play. It might for 25 regular season games that no one's watching anyways.
Right.
But on the big stage, you won't have an NBA Western Conference Finals completely marred by people just saying James Harden cheats.
But the thing of it is, why I would say just rewrite the rules. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're going to officiate the game that way, just put it in writing, and that's the thing. Because as it is now, so like if they enforce all these calls on James Harden or LeBron James or whatever, and all of a sudden Harden's just running out getting 12, 14 points a night instead of 37. No, but that's impactful to the NBA because nobody wants to buy that jersey anymore. Yeah. So the NBA loses money on that, which is why. But if you're going to skew it, then you got to skew it forever. You can't just handpick who you're doing. You know what I mean? Because that's what makes it unenjoyable to watch.
And that's what I mean.
Because you'll watch, Joe Blow, the backup point guard, do the exact same thing and get absolutely mugged, and they're like nothing. James Harden steps into the paint and a guy fucking sneezes and they're like 2 shots and ball. Yeah. That's a flagrant one. You know what I mean? Like, it's infuriating to watch. If you're going to call it, just call it everywhere.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And that's what I mean. Do it in a post-game report. Right. The NBA will tighten its officiating and the players will adjust.
And the announcers...
It's like what my brother always says, right? We argue basketball and he's like, the 90s was just better basketball. I'm like, absolutely was not. Yeah. Because I was like, no one, if you had a chance today to watch the New York Knicks of the 90s, right? They were essentially the Broad Street Bullies, right? They had 2 guys on their team, Oakley and Mason, who were pretty much just the Bash Brothers from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, they're like your classic enforcers in hockey. Like, these guys are there to
Anthony Mason couldn't make a roster today, right?
Yeah.
And no one wants to watch Steph Curry go in the paint and get fucking chokeslammed. We have pro wrestling for that, right? We want to see the beautiful game. It's just like hockey. They started taking fights away, and people are like, no. It's a more beautiful, better played game now.
Sure.
Fine. I think the NBA is like that, too. So I'm not saying you want to make it super restrictive.
Right.
But you have to not miss obvious.
Right.
And the biggest one is, again, not even, could this have gone either way on a foul? If it's a full push-off, if it's a full fucking 3-step travel, right? If it's a flop especially, flop should be an in-game technical and $100,000 fine.
Right.
I mean, make it hurt, man.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Well, it's like that thing, like you'll watch a game, and it'll come down to the end of a game, and like some guy, whoever, Patrick Beverly or whatever, will run in, get mugged under the basket, not get it, game's over, and they'll be like, he's complaining about the call, but like he's not going to get that call. James Harden might have got that call, but he why? Why is that a thing? Like
it's
why?
The worst,
why should he get that call and not Patrick? You know what I mean? Like,
but that's the thing,
and they just openly like say that too, and it's annoying as fuck, man.
Yes, bitch, and that's what the NBA should be mad about. Yeah, is that in their own broadcast they're telling us that it's an unfair system. Right?
Every night in, night out.
And I know life is like they're all the old man things.
I get that.
Life's not fair, but I'm like, okay, but this is not life, right? Yeah. These are microcosms, good and evil battles that we set up with rules.
Yeah.
Like, we're really seeing who the best men are.
This isn't nom smoking, this is bowling, there are rules.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing it with an orange ball and tennis shoes. We'd be doing it like gladiator style, right? So I don't take any of these like kind of old man defenses about, well, you can't do this, you can't, like, they can change the game will shift, right?
Sure.
Like, even years ago, everyone's like, well, you can't win a title with 2 guards jacking up 53s a game, right? When Golden State started. Well, they did.
They did.
And now every single team does it.
Won 3 of them,
Now Andre Drummond has to learn how to shoot threes. Like, it just changes, man.
I agree.
Be on the cutting edge of the change. That's my theory.
Hey, guys, don't be afraid of change.
That's right.
That's the time we got for this week. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, at Coach Kent Murphy on all the socials, CoachKentMurphy.com for all your merchandise needs. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.